Welcome to Super Talk Outdoors, where every single Monday at lunchtime we celebrate the world-class outdoors of the state of Mississippi because this is the capital of the outdoors in America. As I always do, I want to thank you for joining us on the powerful Super Talk Mississippi Radio Network. Some of you watching on social media or on YouTube or Super Talk TV at Ceasefire TV. However you engage in the show, we don't really care as long as you engage in the show. But as I often say, radio is king still in Mississippi with Super Talk Mississippi. So it is a thrill to be here. I continue to get terrific feedback from so many listeners from across the state. I love getting feedback this time of year as we continue not just to celebrate the outdoors in Mississippi, but also the outdoor experience. It's just great telling the stories. This past weekend was one of those great weekends, man. A good opening day of duck season. I personally didn't hunt. I actually kept my 4-year-old grandson, Liam, while his father and a friend were hunting ducks. But I did get the opportunity to hunt with him, deer hunt with him all weekend. And it was just so absolutely incredible. That's what hunting's all about. You know, I say it often, but you know, being in the outdoors with our kids and our kids' kids, that's what it's all about. And we made some great memories this weekend. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Hey, listen, if you look back in the last, many years of the show, from time to time, we've been focused on the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks Commission. And one of the things that I've said pretty regularly over the past year, it sure is good to see a commission that's focused, not just settled down, but focused on doing some great things. And one of the people that joined the commission last year that I really enjoyed visiting with and staying in touch with over the past year. I knew him before. I've gotten to know him even better more recently. But Todd Hairston is a commissioner. He also works with Covington Civil and Environmental. And we'll get into all this, but mostly he loves the outdoors and loves making his contribution to Mississippi's outdoors through the commission. So without any further ado, let me welcome back to Super Talk Outdoors, my friend Todd Hairston. How you doing, Todd?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I am doing fantastic, man. So where are you sitting right now?
I'm in my office in Gulfport.
Excuse me. Yeah, it was good to see you, man. Nice, clean environment. I like the way you got it situated. What I notice most for people who are on the radio, what you'll appreciate or maybe not appreciate is his desk is clean. It's rare to see a desk clean these days.
Well, this side of it is.
I gotcha. Yeah. So, don't let the facts get in the way of a good presentation, but it's nice and clean. And I love the decor and all that. Have you been able to be out and enjoy some outdoors with your 3 girls?
I have. We hunted a little bit over Thanksgiving. I had 2 of them in a blind with me. Things didn't work out. The weatherman lied a little bit on the wind, and we saw some deer late, but it wasn't the best. I hunted a little bit on my own, but you know, my most recent memory of girls is I took my youngest, Haley, just her and I a couple of weeks ago. It was warm, wasn't great hunting, and the last morning I could tell that she had gotten tired and bored. And I remembered growing up in the Delta, my dad telling me stories about building like forts, like little blinds. They would drag limbs and logs around a tree and build them. And I thought, man, I got to save this deal because I wanted to come back with me. And I said, you know, Haley, do you want to build a fort? And she looked at me like, what? We can do that? I said, yeah, we can do that. And so, man, we went walking through the woods looking for the perfect tree. And we found this great big tree with 3 huge trunks coming out of it. And it was shaped like a palm. I saw it before her, but then when she saw it, she went, Dad, that's perfect. It's like me and my 2 sisters. And so I drug logs and limbs over to that tree for an hour and a half. And we built this big, huge fort. And actually the other day, Commissioner Munger went bow hunting with me, and he wanted to hunt out of the fort. And he sat in the fort and hunted. He didn't see anything but squirrels, but he said he enjoyed it.
And that's so cool though. My kids are at that stage. My grandkids, they are 2, 4, 6, and 2, 4, 6, and 10, or 2, 4, 6, and 8. I should know that, shouldn't I? But anyway, you get the excuse me, 4, 6, 8, and 10. There we go. I didn't sound right when I said it. But what a great spread in age, and they're at that fort building stage, and they love to do that kind of stuff. Listen, a real quick story with Liam this weekend. He broke his arm. He actually broke his arm kind of wrestling with his dad. And when I said, "Your dad broke your arm, Liam?" He said, "It was an accident." You know, he wanted to make sure he protect his daddy. But anyway, yeah. So he's got a cast on his arm, and I wanted to see if he could get up a ladder. I was going to help him either way, but I was curious. Can I get him up a ladder to go hunt in a box somewhere? And so what we did is we actually went over to some bunk beds, and he got up the ladder by himself, and got up on top of the ladder. There's a bobcat adjacent to this bunk, incidentally, and he petted the bobcat. You know the picture. Starts to come back down again, and he's holding on tight, but he's feeling with his feet, and he almost misses one of the rungs. And he looks at me. Now, listen, you got to keep in mind that Liam is super clever, really clever. So he knows when he's about to say something that's funny. That's the funny thing. So he looks at me dead in the eye, and he says, "Ooh, I almost missed that step. That's because I don't have eyes in my butt." So I said, Liam, dude, you are so funny, man. But it's those kind of memories that are just so sweet. We got in a stand that afternoon. He had no trouble getting in it. I kind of carried him back down, but we killed a doe together. We got to watch deer just about the entire hunt, and it was sweet. It was really sweet. Great, just a great experience. We hunted again and saw deer again. But, there's nothing like being in that stand. And at 4 years old, learning to be quiet and loving to see the deer. Like, in fact, his dad bow hunts, and I think you're a bow hunter too. His dad bow hunts, and so his dad had killed a doe with his bow, and we had to track it maybe 100 yards. And he thought that was so cool, following the blood trail and all that. So when I killed this doe, he looked out there and he saw that it was laying on the ground. He said, "Oh no, it didn't go anywhere." He was hoping we were going to get this opportunity to track it. I said, "Well, that's, usually that's what we try to do when we're hunting with a rifle." But, learning those little nuances like that, it's just great memories, isn't it, my friend?
Oh yeah, it is. And I'll tell you what I think has eyes in its butt, and that's a mature buck. I rattled, but I'm sure you all have seen this too, but deer are coming to rattling right now, like maybe I've never seen in Mississippi. It's really cool. And I rattled the other morning, and a little spike came by acting all tough, and then a couple more deer. And then I hear the crunch right behind me and downwind turn, and this big mature buck, right? And I can't move, and he doesn't like it. And so he turns and trots away, and then he turns and starts walking back to me, and I still can't move. And then he starts to trot away again, and he's facing away from me. He's trotting away, and I just reach with one arm. I'm 40 yards from this deer, way up a tree, with one arm, and put my hand on my bow, and he saw that as he was running away, blew, and went to the next county. It's amazing how they can see movement.
Yeah, Jordan, similar scenario. He did a very aggressive rattle and had a small 6 or 8 point come in, and it was kind of standing behind him. The wind was in his face, so this particular deer was a little bit to the left, so didn't smell him, but stood there knowing something wasn't right, and a beautiful mature 8 point pops out about 10 feet in front of him. He goes to full draw, and the only reason he can't release the arrow is because there's a 4-inch sapling between him and the vitals, between Jordan and the vitals of that 8 point. And meanwhile, this 6 or 8 point, this 2-year-old's behind him to the left. Jordan's trying to shift around. The big deer doesn't see him because the big deer's looking at the 6 to 8 point. And by the way, that was Saturday morning. the sunrise was so beautiful, and he said the head of that deer and those beautiful horns were silhouetted in that that rising sun. And he's looking at the 6 to 8 point. When Jordan moves to try to reposition the arrow, the 6 to 8 point sees him. It runs. The big boy never smelt Jordan, never saw Jordan. But as soon as the 6 or 8 point ran, so did the 8 point. So he watches this deer go from 10 feet away to across the field in literally literally a second. But and he called me heartbroken. He said, because that was 2 days in a row that a very similar situation happened. Well, hey, what we'll do, we'll pick it up right there when we come back on the other side with Todd Hairston, who's a commissioner on the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks, and we'll talk about some more memories. We'll also talk about the latest on the commission. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to Super Talk Outdoors. Listen, are you looking to purchase your perfect piece of hunting property, upgrade your farm equipment, or have you been dreaming of owning your slice of heaven out in the country? Look no further than Mississippi Land Bank for your financing needs. For more than 100 years, farming families and landowners in North Mississippi have turned to Mississippi Land Bank for all kinds of financial solutions, whether it's for land, equipment, or livestock. For more information, visit mslandbank.com or go by and see one of their friendly staff at any of their offices. We are thrilled to have Mississippi Land Bank as a sponsor of Super Talk Outdoors. Now let's move back over to my friend Todd Hairston. He's a seasoned environmental and engineering professional. He's from the Mississippi Delta. He lives in Gulfport. He's on the commission for the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks, and we'll get there for sure before it's all said and done. He was joking with me during the break that I should tell Jordan, who loves to fish and loves to release big speckled trout, that's just when you have that scenario with an 8 point, a mature 8 point, that's the ultimate form of catch and release, isn't it, my friend?
It is. He gets to do it again now.
So you were telling me something about your phone or a camera. What was that story? Tell me that story real quick.
Yeah. So Friday morning, I was in a tree and daylight broke, and a big mature buck came in, and while I was sizing him up and making sure he was old, I put my phone on I have a video thing on my bow that it's magnetized, and I can put my phone on it and hit record, and I did that, and I decided that I was going to shoot the buck, and it was really quiet in there, and so I had to draw really slow. He walks where I could draw. He's headed in the perfect lane, and I draw, and when I hit the back wall, the phone falls, and it's still video, and I have the video. Falls 25 feet and crashes on the ground in the leaves and keeps videoing. And you hear me stop him, Matt, stop him, and shoot, and it hit. But I'm blaming it on the phone. I was so flustered from that happening that I shot him right in the point of the shoulder, and it went in an inch, maybe 2 feet. It didn't do anything to him. And I watched him run off, really, really healthy looking.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty funny. The video's good.
I can't wait to see the video. Listen, bow hunting can be so frustrating. This time of year you have, like we said with rattling, you've got techniques you can use to bring them in. But as the season, wears on, the harder it gets, man. And you just got to be in the right place at the right time, find a great trail, find one that's locked down, and maybe you're going to get lucky in that scenario. But, that's why, I tell you, man, just being out there in those scenarios, it's what it's all about. And we're so lucky to live here, aren't we?
We are. You don't have to have the perfect place. You don't have to have the fancy hunting club. People don't understand that. If you just spend time where you can, you'll see amazing stuff. You'll see wonderful stuff that God's given us to go out there and experience everywhere, all over the state of Mississippi.
It really is. You have the opportunity to do hunting all over the place outside the state of Mississippi. Have you been on any interesting expeditions lately?
Yeah. So the latest, I went to Kansas and we hunted wild quail in Kansas. And it was it was really eye opening. I have a 2-year-old German wirehair that he'll hunt. He's hunted a little bit. He's really good. He just doesn't have the experience. And I think I'm going to take him back up there because there's so many. Well, we went we went to the Cimarron National Grasslands and hunted them on public land. And there were just as many quail there as there were on the private leases the guys had up there. We were in this river bottom and it was just beautiful. And I can't wait to go back. So I just did that. We actually predator hunted a little bit when we were up there, shot 13 coyotes in one night, which was cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. A lot of cattle operations, and when they have their dead cow piles, you know, they look like hyenas, you know, on National Geographic.
Wow.
So I did that. I went to Maine on a bear hunt, like I have multiple times before, and I unfortunately shoulder shot a bear and didn't find him. Which that was a tough one. But we had an overall great experience. But then I got back from the bear hunt feeling really sorry for myself, and for the first time decided to go and hunt the velvet season. And I hadn't done that. So hot and everything. And but I had some pictures of some really good deer in daylight. And, you know, one of them was this buck that you all have had these pictures before when you get a picture of the deer and you think, man, that's awesome that he's out there, but I'll never see him, you know, in real life. I've had that thought a lot. And this one deer I did. And opening afternoon, I I'd just gone to Bass Pro and got a big hat to keep the sun off of me. Found it in the kids section. It's the only place I could find. It had like fishing lures on it. Pretty goofy looking. And got way up in a tree. Had a very difficult day, but I powered through it and never got upset or anything. It was one of those lose your keys, lose your phone days. And powered through it. Took my time going in, even though I was late. And you know, being late and loud is always worse than just being late. And I always have to remind myself of that. But get way up in a tree and I said a little prayer and thank God for my endurance through the day and not getting upset and being joyful, even though I had some things go wrong. And not long after I said it, a limb cracked behind me, and I turned, and the first deer of the year I see sitting in a stand, and 91 degrees or however hot it was, is the buck that I was never going to see on the hoof, 23 yards behind me. And I shot him, and I knew I hit him perfect, and he ran maybe 75 yards and heard him crash. And I turned around and was staring. I was hunting in a saddle, turned around staring at this big pine tree I was in, thinking, I can't believe that just happened. I said, you're going to have to show me something really cool for me to believe that I did right today, right? By enduring today joyfully. And maybe a minute afterwards, the buck I was never going to see standing there, and I shoot him. And then my wife sent me a really cool text, not knowing what I had just done, that all circled back to the theme of the story. It was a really special day. And so since then, I've had a really good season, seen a lot of deer. Going duck hunting this coming weekend in the Delta, and I'm excited about that. First, I'm going to watch Gulfport play in the state championship in Starkville, and then I'm driving to the Delta that night and hunting the next morning.
Good. You know, I was raised in Gulfport, born in Birmingham, Alabama, lived in Pensacola for a short period of time, but was in Mississippi Gulf Coast by the time I was 4 years old. So went through the whole Gulfport school system, and that's going to be a great championship. We're all looking forward to that for sure. You know, I tell you, man, you know, you talk about that. We're coming down to 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We'll pick it up on the other side. But my son and Liam love to watch this thing called Outdoor Boys. Have you ever watched this before? This guy who used to be, I think he was like a traffic attorney or something like that, travels around with his kids, oftentimes by himself, just going on these expeditions. He spends a lot of time in Alaska. And every time I see the additions from Alaska, I think about you and the time that you spent there. But the outdoors, as you and I talked about the last time we talked, I mean, it's a great place to find yourself. It's a great place to get centered. And so, whether you're having the most wonderful times in your life, or maybe you're having some challenging times of your life, what a great way to get centered. And, I often say that when I was a kid, the outdoors saved me. And you clearly think the outdoors saved you, don't you?
I do. One thing's for sure, whether you're going through bad times or good times, the outdoors takes away all like worldly distraction. When you get out there, and it's the purest place I have found in my life to be able to really think clearly and hear clearly, messages from inside of me and elsewhere that I need to do things right and to live as righteous as I can, which at times hadn't been great, but it's where I go to, like you said, to get centered.
Well, you're a living testimony that redemption exists. And I wrote a book on finding hope that is in the hands of an editor as we speak. And I say in there that I think we too often forget that everyone is going through something. Everybody is going through something. And I even have a chapter 17, that the name of it is Sanctuary. And it really talks about how the outdoors can save us. I mean, how can you write a book about hope and not have a chapter in it about the lessons we learn in the outdoors? And I really believe strongly that the outdoors saves us. So if you're listening to this and you enjoy the outdoors, you already know that. If you're not, if you're listening to this and you don't enjoy the outdoors, man, take the time to find why we say what we say about that. We'll be back with Todd Hairston after this break. Welcome back to SuperTalk Outdoors. What a beautiful time of the year, man. Think about it. This is the time of year so many people look forward to. Duck season is open. Deer season is open. People are spending time in the outdoors with family and friends. Man, so many great memories being made. And let's hope, as I end every show, let's hope that people are putting safety first. Always put safety first. Because I'm in this seat, I get all these horror stories of these. Unfortunately, sometimes they're not close calls, but you don't hear about the close calls, but I do. I hear about the close calls, the gun that went off that nobody, thank God, was there when it happened, or the guy that either fell out of his stand or nearly fell out of his stand, but thank God didn't get hurt. I just learned just in the past few days that someone I know extremely well fell out of a stand, and he's sore, but didn't break any bones. Thank goodness, man. I don't get up. We're visiting with Todd Hairston, incidentally, Commissioner for the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. I'm going to wear my safety vest anytime I'm getting up in a stand, and we've got safety ropes on all our stands. And you think about it, people don't take the time to put that safety harness on, Todd. I'm not sure why, because the time it takes to do that and just click to that safety rope and bring it up, to know that while you're up there, you're safe, and coming back down, you're safe. The time it takes to do that is nothing compared to the agony, really, in some cases, literally life-changing agony of not doing that. It's amazing that people take the risk, isn't it?
It is. 2 years ago, I fell. I was in a hurry, as usual, and had to get in there, before the deer came out. And I was in Copiah County by myself on 4,000 acres, and got on my cart, started through the woods, and realized that I didn't have my safety harness. And I didn't want to, but I turned around and went back, got it, went to the stand, walked in, climbed my ladder onto the lock on, stood on the lock on before putting it on. Huge mistake. Strapped in, and when I did, I reached down and folded the seat down, and didn't know that the seat was, when it was where the hinge was, it was right at the strap latch, and popped it. The stand, it was like a trap door, just poof out from under me that fast. I didn't even realize it was happening until I was hanging by that safety harness. And
Wow.
Worked my way over the ladder and got free and got down. And and I don't grudgingly turn around and get it if I forget it anymore.
Yeah. So listen, I had a situation. It's been about 4 or 5 years ago. I was coming down from a tripod. The tripod. I mean, it's not normally what you would wear a safety strap to get in. I missed the last step. That's it. The last step. And before I knew it, man, I was laying flat on my back, man. I'd hit my head and everything. I did knock me out, knock my breath out of me, but just one step, man. So I don't know what that is equivalent to, maybe 3 or 4 feet by the time you extrapolate where I was standing to the moment that I was on the ground, 3 or 4 feet. And man, that was painful. I can't imagine falling from further. But people are taking risk every single day. And that's one of the reasons I just put, you got to put safety first. One of the most horrifying, there are horrifying stories that involve someone getting shot. So I'm not going to joke about that. I'm not even going to pretend about that. I mean, that's a terrible situation. But in terms of the close calls that I've heard, this guy who shot a buck, he puts a bullet into the chamber. He forgets to put it on safety. He goes and finds the buck. He, enjoys the moment, takes some pictures, walks all the way back to his four-wheeler. He's by himself. When he gets to his four-wheeler, he's taken his gun off of his shoulder and brushes the trigger. Gun goes off. Nobody's anywhere, goes out into the woods. Nobody's hurt, nothing. But he said that was one of the few times that he didn't have one of his grandchildren with him. And I mean, he hates to think about what could have happened. Another guy whose gun went off in the back of his truck because he had it loaded, forgot to unload it. It shifted in the back of his truck and blew a hole in the back of the truck. Nobody was standing there, thank God. But you hear these things all the time. How hard is it to unload your gun before you come down? Why would anybody have a loaded gun going up or down or walking around for that matter? It's amazing how we just, what's interesting too, if you look at the people who've had these close calls, these people who have been injured, oftentimes they're the people who have the most experience in the outdoors. They just drop their guard. You hear it over and over again, don't you?
You do. And, experience leads to more and more ambition. And we want to go and be successful more and more. But you said it really well earlier, in that, it's falling like that. It can be a life-changing experience. Like everything about your life can change. Whereas, we get in a hurry, as I do, and overly ambitious, and we want to kill a really good deer. Well, that's really, really fun, killing a good deer and everything, but it's not life-changing. Falling 20 feet is.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Well, let's hope that this gets some people's attention. If you have a family situation and you get family members or friends that are going out hunting or even in a club for that matter, and someone's about to go get up in a stand and you don't notice that they've got a safety belt on or a vest of some sort, just say, hey, man, let's do the right thing. If they come back and their breeches aren't open, that's so easy to do. Check behind each other. So if anyone is offended by someone looking over their shoulder, then that's the wrong person to have around you, man. Because you can't take anything for granted. Don't take anything for granted. That's kind of the message here, because at the end of the day, what he and I were talking about, what Todd and I were talking about earlier about hunting with him with his girls, me with my grandsons, and my granddaughter for that matter. That's what it's all about. That's what hunting is all about. Hey, let's shift gears, Todd. When I talk about things have settled down on the commission for the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks, and that you guys are focused, it's true, isn't it?
Well, we are focused. We're focused on trying to do the right thing wherever we can. And I have to say this part because it's the first thing that comes to mind when I talk about good on the commission. People ask me a lot, what do I like about being on the commission? Number one, the people, understanding and realizing the resources we have, but then just really, really good people that I've met so far that lead and work for the agency. But the second thing is this, we are tasked with reinstatement of licenses when folks had their licenses taken away. And the commission hasn't formally taken the stance, but it's obvious that it's going on. Has started to accept the appointment given when somebody who's made mistakes comes in front of us. We're all put in positions in our lives almost constantly, whether where our eyes are open to it or not, to help other people, not to just sit and judge someone from above, but to have a conversation with them about how they got to the place that they got to make the decision that they made to do something, and how there's a whole lot more out there in the outdoors, like we've been talking about, than you saw growing up. Daddy and his buddies drinking beer around the campfire isn't what it's all about. And we've started to talk to mostly the young folks about that. I think that we should do more, and we can, and we will do more from that regard. That's been the most striking thing to me on the commission thus far, and also interaction with the folks that work and lead the agency has been smooth. It's been honest, and it's been open the entire time, and I've enjoyed that.
Yeah, you can definitely see it when I watch the commission meetings. It's serious, but you're right. It's those meetings when when someone who broke the law, had their license revoked, has to come before the commission and explain how they might have found their own redemption in that process, and the way you guys quiz them and have that conversation that you refer to. Some get it, most get it, some don't, some, and they pay mightily for that, but most do. And it is a powerful thing. And it's a great opportunity for people to learn from their experiences, because they come and they hats in hand, man, they're at your disposal to evaluate whether they really feel sorry for whatever they did. And it's a very touching thing to see. That is for sure. Listen, we're visiting with Todd Hairston. He's a commissioner for the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. When we come back on the other side, we'll close this out by just talking a little bit more about the commission, some of the work that they're up to. What's it like to work, shoulder to shoulder? He mentioned Billy Munger and hunting with him. Billy has been a long-serving member. I think he's actually going to be the next chairman after the current chairman. So Billy is a good one, but they're all good people. And we'll chat a little bit about the commission and how they're doing, and we'll close it all out with Todd Hairston after we get back from this break. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to SuperTalk Outdoors. We're visiting with Todd Hairston. He's a commissioner for the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. He and his wife, Lacey, and their 3 daughters live in Gulfport. He's originally from the Mississippi Delta, so he has a feel of things the way that I do. Being from the coast, but also having that tremendous connection back to the Delta. I can't spend enough time in the Delta this time of year. Mud or no mud, dust or no dust. I love being in the Mississippi Delta. I love the people there, that's for sure. Hey, Todd, so, coming back to the commission, what's it been like serving as a commissioner?
It's been eye-opening. From the outside looking in, I never understood the amount of information and resources that are held within the walls of that agency. The folks that work there, number one, are world class. They truly are. I'm not just saying that. They're respected around the country, and they're hunters and fishermen and conservationists, and they want to do what they can to preserve and enhance the resource, which is all of our task. It's been an incredible experience so far.
Yeah, listen, you're so right. And in a way, I feel like I'm, part of my role here is not just to talk about how much we enjoy the outdoors and why Mississippi's the capital of the outdoors, and have this chance to talk to this wide variety of people and their hunting experiences and fishing experiences and so on. But I have to tell you, I believe that part of the reason I've been put on this earth, at least as it relates to this show, is to celebrate people like Houston and William McKinley and Adam and a long list of others, the law enforcement side of the operation. You think about what our law enforcement team does, how they do what they do, and the professionalism they bring to the table. but I celebrate them because if you look at the biologist side of what happens, you know that what they're doing is being driven by the data, and they're sharing best practices from across the United States, and we're able to take advantage of that learning and make sure that Mississippi stays on the cutting edge as it relates to whether it's duck or wild turkey or deer hunting. The work that we've done on the alligators and bears. I mean, the list goes on and on. But I love celebrating because these are smart guys. They could have chosen to go be doctors and lawyers and whatever, but they've chosen to dedicate their lives to the department for conservation because they love the outdoors. We can't say enough good things about them.
That's right. They're in it for the right reasons, and we're 4 years now into a 5-year CWD plan. I'm looking forward to what they come up with, whether it's keep doing the same thing or make some minor changes, major changes, whatever, when they complete the 5-year plan. But, I'll tell you this, any notion that anybody that is working for the department or on this stuff is doing it for anything other than to try to enhance and conserve what they love, I'm telling you, it's not right. These people love it like you and I do, and they become close friends of mine. I ask them too many questions. Sometimes I text them a lot of times and say, "Hey, you ready for another stupid question?" And they are so gracious with me. I think that they are doing everything they can with limited information. There's just so much you can do. It's like asking a doctor to diagnose and fix a problem that there is no cure for, that they know of yet. They're looking for it just like everybody else. And nobody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm not going to do my best, because we all do. They all do. It's a struggle, but they're staying positive the whole time, which is wonderful to watch. And it's a great example too.
And what I tell you what I also like, Lynn Posey is executive director working with his team closely with the legislature. If you think about Representative Bill Kincaid on the House side and Senator Ben Suber on the Senate side, they're super good chairman, man. I'm telling you. And I love the way they're communicating between the two of them. Things like focusing on this next legislative session to getting, for example, county specific harvest data for animals, especially deer. That's so important. I mean, when you think about Mississippi being a white-tailed deer leader in the nation for a host of reasons, the fact that we don't have county specific data, the only one in the United States without it, to be able to offer to this massive database that they're gathering information around, it's amazing. But I love that you've got Bill and Ben there working hard on behalf of the outdoors community, and we're in good shape. Hey, we got less than a minute. I'll give you the closing thought.
My closing thought is this: go out there, and when you get frustrated, at the moment you get frustrated, stop for a second, take a couple of breaths, take a beat, and throw ambition to the side. Don't think about the deer. Go out there and find what he has for you out there. Sit by a tree for a while, and you'll find more every single time if you just give it a chance.
As our friend Will Primo says, he doesn't have to pray because he's in a prayer. I love the way he says
love it.
But that is so true. Todd Hairston, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you, my friend.
Yes, sir. You too.
You bet. Hey, stay safe in the outdoors. We'll see you next week.